وإمامنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Tonight's lesson is supposed to be on اللؤلؤ والمرجان فيما اتفق عليه الشيخان, and we're still in Kitab al-Buyu', the chapter of sales and transactions, the chapter of making money, of getting funds, hustling, making funds, seeking Allah's bounty, seeking Allah's rizq through trade. And of course, there are other ways of seeking Allah's rizq. There are other ways of earning funds, of earning wealth. But this way is talking about the legal, licit, legitimate way of buying and selling to gain. The legal way of buying and selling and making a profit, getting something that's beneficial, etc. Of goods, of services, so on and so forth, commodities, right? And there are do's and don'ts of buying and selling. And there's an etiquette of buying and selling. There's supposed to be an ethical standard that a Muslim is to buy or sell. And the Muslim buyer has rules that he has to abide by. And the Muslim merchant has rules that he or she is supposed to abide by. Okay, that's everything we've been speaking on in the chapter so far. Pretty soon, in the night ta'ala, we will be making a jump or leap with regards to speaking on the different prohibited types of transactions and trade that would lead us to discussing riba. Riba. And as we explained last week, riba being of two types. Riba nasi'ah, good, ahsant, and riba al-fadl. Riba nasi'ah is the traditional riba that we talk about and discuss with regards to mortgaging homes, with regards to the Federal Reserve Bank, right? The creature of Jekyll Island, right? With regards to Visa, MasterCard. Some people were arguing and criticizing, saying that the banks of riba are within a walk's distance from the Kaaba. You literally walk for less than 5 minutes, there's the Kaaba, and then there's the ATM for Visa card. Worldwide system, that's the point I'm trying to get to. Is that to say what? It's not just in the West, it's a worldwide system, with the exceptions to a few countries, if they still have lasted, that don't have those types of banking systems. So you paying back more than what you borrowed. Riba nasi'ah. And riba al-fadl is with regards to bartering, trading goods. What goods can and cannot be traded. What goods can and cannot be traded with regards to consignment. فإذا اختلفت هذه الأصناف فبيعوا كيف شئتم. The Prophet ﷺ says in the authentic hadith, when the things that you're trading and bartering that have been mentioned are different, فبيعوا كيف شئتم. Sell and buy as you wish. ما دامت أو ما كان يدا بيد. As long as it's hand to hand. It cannot be delayed or deferred, so on and so forth. So it's a long discussion. And we'll try our best by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission to simplify, summarize, to break down, like we always try to do, of getting a introductory grasp of what makes a transaction, a deal, a sell, a riba in Islam. And of course, like many things, most of us really don't know. And those who do know, just know about riba and nasi'ah. That's it, which is a good thing to know about. But there are many other things involved. And we've also explained when it comes to buying and selling, most of us think that the only problem or the only issue with the bank, and we can never ever underestimate the power of the bank. Okay, the bank is basically, when it comes to these worldly things, everything. From house, from car, from school, from medicine. Is this not the case? Many wars, as we speak, many wars around the world weren't fought because of this border or these people were brave and valiant and dauntless and uh, banking. How much money can we make off of these ignorant fools slaughtering each other, spilling each other's blood in the name of homeland, in the name of South, in the name of North, in the name of white, in the name of black, in the name of this and name of money? Okay, the banks being in control and being responsible for the rise and the fall of different societies and nations. Some historians argue that one of the reasons why the old Muslim empires failed or ceased to exist or got left behind was because there was never the establishment of a banking class. There was the high, the aristocrats, and then there was the low, the peasant. And they never established a growing middle class to go to upper class, the banking clans, like the Genoese did and the Venetians and other parts of Italy. And they became the financiers of this expedition, of this exploration, of this type of renaissance. So on and so, and the technology became monopolized afterwards, right? That's neither here but nor there. I'm just trying to make a point is that there are many things that are impermissible done on a daily day with regards to buying and selling, and most of us just think that it's only riba. And we've read many of them already. You can't sell something that you don't own, correct? You're not allowed to do this unless you take it with you. You're not allowed to cut it. Why could that, right? You get the point I'm trying to make? And the more of the foundations that you learn, then bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, the easier it will be to, understand the modern day issues of riba. Wallahu ta'ala. So what did we talk about last week, Amjad?
Selling, buying fruits before they ripen.
Jazakallah khairan. Buying or selling fruits before they ripen. All right, Tayyib. And what else did we say?
There are conditions for that. There are some certain conditions if you want to purchase unripened fruits even before they ripen.
What are those conditions? Or most importantly, what are those situations? What are those scenarios?
It has to be in the actual shape that it is in.
It has to be actual fruit that has reached that level of development. That is an actual clementine. Not a small little green bud or something, but it's actual fruit, even if it isn't the right color yet, or if it's too hard or too soft, regardless of what the type of fruit that grows. But it actually has to have what? All right. Secondly, we said
if it's still ripe, the seller has to cut it down in front of you.
if it's unripened, then he has to stipulate that he's going to take it with him immediately. Tayyib, Jazakallah khairan. Number 3.
There has to be necessity.
It has to be a need or a necessity, and it can't turn into. We said that it can't turn into what?
Well, a usual habit.
The practice in which the people make that the default instead of purchasing them when they're ripe. Obviously, you can see many of those things are very important, of course, to today's time. Shipping, buying and selling in the time of the Prophet ﷺ was very simple. You walked off, you bought. But here, they're buying fruits and vegetables from a different continent, and they're getting shipped. It's a little different now, right? So that last scenario is going to be very important. Now, we need to buy these plantains pre-ripe. That way, by the time they get there, they are just perfect in the middle. Everybody understand this, right? Like the server at a restaurant, they bring you the food, and it's very, very, very super piping hot, right? That way, by the time they get it to your table, you get the point. Khair, inshallah. All right, tight. So we need to make review, bidnillahi ta'ala, before we move into the next chapter, with regards to babu tahrimi bay'i rutabi bitamri illa fil araya. We'll get to that. Inshallah, we'll take that next week. Prohibition of selling fresh dates for dry dates. The prohibition of selling rutab for tamar. People here today in the United States, and I'm sure other parts of the world, they use the word tamar or tumur broadly. But in the pure Arabic language and culture, tamar is a dry date. The people of Medina, they call tamar dry dates. And rutab is supposed to be fresh dates that spoil very quickly. And of course, people use them loosely nowadays. They use rutab for a specific type of date in Medina. And any type of date shop is always going to say fulan and fulani litumur in Medina. And then you have ajwa, barni, such and such, sukari, etc., etc., etc. But back then, rutab was anything that was fresh, and the tamar was dry, right? So the dates that most of us eat here in Ramadan, majdul, right, are probably semi-dry, semi-fresh, but for real, more to the dry side. And obviously it's a long discussion with regards to where those dates come from. And as we do our darus, and as we've said before, we make dua for our brothers and sisters in Gaza. May Allah relieve their distress and grant them patience, grant them healing from their wounds, and allow those who have died and lost their lives, whether they're martyrs or those who aren't martyrs, to be in Jannah. Ameen. And may Allah Azza wa Jal take retribution against the zalim, the wrongdoer, and all of those who support the wrongdoers. Ameen. Allahumma ameen. Obviously, that's a long discussion, which we're not going to get into right now. The theatrics or the dramatic and the long history of, Allahumma sta'an, what's going on there. It's a long discussion, which we can't get into the end or the depths of if we wanted to, especially right now. That's not the purpose of tonight's class, but we do make dua for our Muslim brothers and sisters. There's no dispute about that. This, that, right, wrong, who's there, al-muhim, they are Muslim brothers and sisters. And we make dua for them, the least that we can do. The least. In light of the poor, helpless situation that we're stuck in. The ummah today. وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ حَسْبُنَا اللَّهُ وَنِعْمَ الْوَكِيلُ. And we make dua for all of the Muslims around the world that are being oppressed and being wronged, wherever they are. In the Middle East, Arab, other parts of the world as well, non-Arab as well. We don't have no prejudice with regards to our love and compassion for our Muslim brothers. Matters not. Bangladesh, Africa, Kashmir, wherever they are, the people of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, we feel compassion for them, and their wounds are our wounds. And perhaps a day will come in which we'll have the ability to do more than just make dua for them. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Khairan inshallah ta'ala. Alright, Father Ibn Victor. Inshallah, we'll take some questions. Bidnillahi ta'ala. Got a little surprise for you, brothers and sisters.
What is on the table?
Yeah, jazakallah khairan. MashaAllah. Alright. So, brothers were telling me, like, look, Mufti, you gotta do an unboxing. The brothers is doing, they're unboxing brand new books. So, here we have a box, alhamdulillah, straight from Medina. Not Jeddah, not Riyadh, but what? Medina. Right from Medina. Here's the label, if you guys don't believe me. Fire. Al-Muhim, alhamdulillah, we want to take a little tour into some HadithDisciple history, right? Let's see what we got in this box, inshallah. تفضل Hamza. تعال. Let's put this back. See how we should do this. All right. Getting authentic Medina dust. Not stuff you buy on Amazon. Allah Mustaan, huh? When first time the books were shipped, the first half of the library, and alhamdulillah, all the brothers who helped out and contributed, who did what they needed to do, Jazakumullahu khairan, may Allah reward them well, I mean. The boxes came in the books came in cigarette boxes, and they were all in the masjid. So brothers like, Astaghfirullah, what is this? This is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You selling cigarettes? I knew he was a deviant. We told you guys he was something was off with this guy. So someone said those books just came from Medina. He's like, oh, it's no longer a munkar anymore, I do it, or this American, evil. Came from Saudi. Allahu Alam. So it's, don't ask why, but the tradition overseas for all of the boxes in the books to be cigarette boxes. This is L&M, huh? Silver. You ever heard of them, H? Back in the day? Every now and then you may see Camel. You may see some brands that you've heard of, but most of the brands you probably never heard of before. How and why are there so many cigarette boxes in the lands of the Muslims in Medina? Allahu Alam. It's not my job. It's not my responsibility. On who's what puffing. Al-Muhim, we got L&M silver. And it looks like what, a lion or a tiger? That's a lion, right? It's a lion, Hamza?
No.
That's a lion on the front?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
It says international since 1872. Allahu Akbar.
1872.
1872. International, huh? Deep. That's right after the Civil War. Muslims been smoking cigarettes. Yeah. Allah Musta'an. And then obviously, if you want to get technical, we know that all Muslims don't believe that smoking cigarettes is haram. So perhaps that's, adds some type of justice to the situation. We're not saying they're halal. I'm not saying I agree with that, but we're just saying it's not an issue of consensus. Many Muslims consider smoking cigarettes to be makruh, just disliked, which you shouldn't be doing no matter what. But we're just trying to make some type of, justification for the widespread phenomena of smoking.
Allahu Akbar.
Huh?
Is the knife hand carved?
Allahu Akbar. We can't answer those type of questions on the live stream. We're going to discuss family business at the table. All right, Victor? All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. This is the first one. Al-Ihsan. في ترتيب صحيح ابن حبان. إتحاف المهرة. سنن النسائي مع حاشية سندي. أضواء البيان. الشنقيطي رحمه الله. شرفية أو شرح ألفية السيوطي. الفوائد المجموعة في الأحاديث الموضوعة. الشوكاني رحمه الله. Here's one. التعالم وأثره على الفكر والكتاب. شيخ بكر أبو زيد. التحقيق في مسائل الخلاف. ابن الجوزي رحمه الله تعالى. السنن ابن ماجه. اللآلي المصنوعة في الأحاديث الموضوعة. السيوطي رحمه الله تعالى. مشكل الآثار الطحاوي رحمه الله تعالى. شرح حديث إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية رحمه الله تعالى. شرح السنة البغوي مع البربهاري. نزهة الألباب في الألقاب حافظ بن حجر رحمه الله تعالى. The obligation of protecting yourself and family from the fire. Sheikh Abdul Aziz ibn Baz rahimahullah ta'ala, a book that I translated some years ago when I was there in Medina. Found his way, this little book found his way in his mighty box. تهذيب الكمال في أسماء الرجال مزي رحمه الله تعالى. وهكذا وهكذا. You guys get the point, huh? Can't show you everything just of yet. Al-Muhim, that's an unboxing, that counts as an unboxing? Or you gotta show everything?
كل شيء يا شيخ.
I'm asking, I don't know the rules. What are they? You gotta show most?
Part 2.
No, I'm saying like, what's the cultural rules behind the unboxing?
Oh yeah, sure.
كل شيء.
Really?
كل شيء.
Good shit, Allah.
Unless if you want to do a part 2.
Usually the unboxings involve one book, one kitab, and it's multiple volumes.
Oh nah, that's
That's what you want is a little.
yeah, that ain't the HD style. Hisnul Muslim. More of Tahdhib al-Kamal. See what this is. Majallatul Buhuth al-Islamiyya. One of the books. Islamic Research Magazine. Some of the books I got free when I graduated. Here you go. Now on this camera, Sharh al-Sunnah from Barbahari. First one was Baghwi. Adwa al-Bayan, we saw that already. And obviously the books, how they were packed, or who packed them, or whatever the case may be, they clearly weren't in what? Exact order. But we can see so far that the majority of the books, alhamdulillah, hadith books. Minhaj Salikin, Ibn Sa'di, Kashf al-Niqab, on Da'af Hadith, Aisha fil Hijab. This is a book written here by a researcher, a bahith, about the hadith regarding إِذَا بَلَغَتِ الْجَارِيَةُ, that when a girl reaches puberty, when she reaches adolescence, nothing can be seen from her إِلَّا هَذَا وَهَذَا وَأَشَارَ إِلَى وَجْهِهِ وَكَفَّيْهِ, that when she reaches age, nothing can be seen from her except for her face and her hands. So this is one book, and I have others in my library of the different scholars who rejected hadith and explained that the hadith is extremely weak. And that's obviously the main proof and evidence, not the only, but one of the main proofs and evidences of those scholars who say that a woman does not have to cover her hands and face in front of a non-mahram. We're not here to discuss that fiqh issue. That is a hadith research. Is a hadith sahih or da'if? Right. Ajurumiyah. See what this is. Radal al-Jahmiyyah. It's a photocopy of it. Some of it. No cover, no title. الدارمي. الأحاديث الواردة في الطائفة المنصورة دراسة حديثية فقهية تأليف الدكتور حافظ بن محمد الحكمي. This is a modern day researcher. This is actually one of my teachers. One of the old heads, one of the OGs of Kulliyat al-Hadith. One of the eldest teachers. He was one of my professors. That talks about, this book talks about the hadith regarding the supported group, Ta'if al-Mansura, that will remain steadfast towards the end of time. كمال الأمة في صلاح عقيدتها شرح آية ولا تفسدوا في الأرض بعد إصلاحها تأليف أبي بكر ibn Jabir al-Jazairi. Sheikh Abu Bakr al-Jazairi wrote a book on the Ummah being upright if and when it has the correct aqidah. Pennsylvania's driver's manual.
How did that end up in Medina?
كذا صحيح الترغيب والترهيب الشيخ الألباني رحمه الله تعالى. الإبانة عن شريعة الفرقة الناجية ومجانبة الفرق المذمومة العكبري رحمه الله تعالى. Kitab on the Aqidah of the Salaf with the chain of narration, what they did or did not believe in with the chains of narration. Very important book. And any book with that type of style that's giving you what the Salaf actually said. Alright? Years, hundreds of years before Ibn Taymiyyah. Ahkam al-Shayb wal-Khidab. It's a modern day book by a modern day researcher. The rulings of white hair and dye, hair dye. Dyeing your hair and keeping your white hair. Can you pluck it? Can you shave it? Can you trim it? Should you dye your beard with henna or allow it to be white, etc. A book just on that. And alhamdulillah, years ago we translated the book of Sheikh Mubir rahimahullah ta'ala regarding the impermissibility of using black hair dye that speaks on many things spoken on in that book. I got that book afterwards though. مغني ذوي الأفهام عن الكتب الكثيرة في الأحكام على مذهب الإمام المبجل أحمد ibn Hanbal. Hanbali book of fiqh here. An advanced Hanbali book of fiqh. Shout out to all the Hanbalis. Tahdhib al-Kamal. And I think the rest of the box is Tahdhib al-Kamal. Al-Mizzi, rahimahullah ta'ala. With regards to al-Kutub al-Sitta. Tahdhib al-Kamal. Yeah, it's a beast. It's just one book, bro. More Tahdhib al-Kamal. شرح الرسالة التدمرية المعجم الكبير الطبراني تهذيب الكمال got some hearts. This happened to be the last book to come out, huh? Hearts and Flowers. Wallahi. How about that? No cap, right? And this is Ahkamu wa Adab al-Mu'asharat al-Zawjiyyati. It is the rulings and the etiquette of marital relations. The do's and don'ts. Pamphlet, dawah pamphlet. Got some more. بحث تأصيلي في الحديث الشاذ. This is a small essay I had written my first year of master's program on a hadith shadh. Very heartbreaking experience, which I can't explain to you right now. And this is a very interesting book here. السيوف الباترة لإلحاد الشيوعية الكافرة. Look at the title of that book, or the cover of that book. Very interesting, right? It's too much. This is a book refuting and rejecting socialism. Soviet socialism. Written by Sheikh Mukbil, rahimahullah ta'ala. Talking about the harms of socialism and communism. That's a long story with regards to North Yemen, South Yemen. Tight. This is a long story, not talking about politics. And this one is Dirasa, Hadith Abi Bakr wa Nu'man ibn Bashir, La Qawada illa bis-sayf. This is another research paper that I wrote regarding the hadith that states there is no qisas, no capital punishment except with the sword. La qawada wa la qiwada illa bis-sayf. No capital punishment except for a sword. Is that hadith sahih or not? Why is it weak? Why, etc. This was written in 1432. What year are we in right now? Huh?
1445.
14? 45. How many years ago? Mm-hmm. And this happens to be the last book. Allah musta'an. Allahu Akbar.
La ilaha
It says, what was we on in Medina? Allah knows best. Talk about the Salaf, right? Well, here you go. Look at that. Look what's in the middle.
Wow.
Wow.
See it? That sword?
You probably went to a wedding.
It's a catalog. Just to go to show that, you know, sword look familiar?
Mm-hmm.
I've always had an interest in arms, swords, and others. Alhamdulillah, it's not a new thing, but it just finally reached, you know, the boiling point, right? People say, oh, he started carrying a sword in the Jumu'ah. This is a proof that he's changed. He's this. He's from the Yani. They don't know. They come from a box from Medina, right? And also to go to show that, alhamdulillah, you know, we've always had an interest in different things and reading different things. You get what I'm trying to say? Not just reading or knowing about one thing, never restricting yourself. What? To one style. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Right, all right, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. I hope you guys enjoyed that. A small, tiny peek into my world, some of my history. You see the books behind me. Obviously, you can't see all of them in the camera. Just know for sure that this is a glimpse into that lifestyle of being a student of the College of Hadith, the heavy burdens, the costly burdens, the responsibility, the devotion, the dedication that's needed, the obsession that's needed. You see this is only a what? Small, tiny sample of the life, right? And the importance of the library, the Islamic library, for any student of knowledge, any imam, any scholar, let alone someone who's aspiring to be a disciple of Hadith. And, you know, put your money where your mouth is, as they say. If you love knowledge, you want to study, then, you know, len tanalu birra, you not obtain piety until you what? Spend out of that which you love. So if you love knowledge, you gotta love it. And you gotta be in love with it. It can't just be a hobby on the side. It gotta be the thing that you are obsessed with if you want some of it. Because knowledge is a very stingy woman. She doesn't like to be shared. She doesn't like weak, feeble, cowardly men. She only gives a little bit of her beauty to what? To the one who proves, right? A little bit she gives. Only a little bit. A kiss, maybe. That's it. Don't get too comfortable. You know, I'm busy. Just like some of my lovers, right? You know, it's not like that, you know. He's head over heels falling in love. She's like, I gotta go. Well, where you going? I just got here. I know you just got here. That's why I gotta go. And she keeps him what? That's right. Show that you're the best. Show why you deserve my love, my beauty. That's knowledge, right? So many of us, we get caught up with an actual beautiful woman instead of the beautiful woman. And that's a problem. Allah musta'an. Khair, inshallah. That's enough of that, inshallah. No more rhetoric, inshallah.
Exactly.